the first chart we're going to look at again is the water cycle chart, specifically for some of the things we've been talking about in science. So number one, the sun is heating the water. Number two, the water evaporates. That means the liquid water turns into water vapor. Number three, warm water vapor rises. Number four, the water vapor cools, forming a cloud. Number five, the cloud cools, causing precipitation to fall. And that could be rain, snow, sleet, or hail, right? And then number six, the water is used on the earth and returns to the ocean. And what do you call when that water is returning? What did they call it in our science yesterday?
Repeating?
No.
Water runoff.
Water runoff. Very good. And what can water runoff sometimes cause? Do you remember?
Soil?
Yes, because it does what?
It moves the things and it gets crushed.
But it's crushing what? Crushing or breaking down?
Weathering.
Yeah, breaking down the rocks. Very good. Somebody else helped you out there. Breaking down the rocks. All right. Then we have the Earth's structure. All right. So this line is pointing to this. So that is the
Crust.
And what's the top layer of the crust?
Bedrock.
By the way, you would only be labeling crust, not bedrock. I just keep asking you what the top layer of crust is so you know it's the bedrock. All right. And then this is pointing to the
Mantle.
And what's in the mantle? A lot of
Magma.
And then this is the
Core.
Very good. All right, so we're going to start reading on page 96. All right, and we'll start with the terms to remember. Everybody with me? 96. Let's read. Volcano, a place in the earth where magma can erupt as lava. Alright, so that's the difference between magma and lava. Magma is still in the earth, and once it erupts, it becomes lava. Alright, what is lava? Lava, melted rock that flows from a volcano. By the way, can you imagine how hot it has to be to melt rock?
Yes.
Wow. If you put a rock in your oven, is it going to melt?
No.
No. So that's got to be a super hot heat in that volcano, right? All right. Next, earthquake, a shaking of the earth's crust. Fault, a break between two of the earth's plates where earthquakes can happen. And then, landslide, a large mass of rock or soil from a mountain or a cliff. How many of you going through an area that was mountainous and had steep cliffs, and you could see a sign that warned you of falling rocks? Okay, so that would be a landslide. All right, let's begin reading. Surface changes of the earth. Some surface changes happen over time because of erosion or weathering. So that was what we were talking about with the water runoff, or the wind, or just freezing. Some changes happen very quickly. During Noah's flood, and as the earth was recovering, many landforms were formed quickly. Many creation scientists believe Noah's flood is how the Grand Canyon was formed. Today we see landforms form quickly because of volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, or landslides. So those are three things that can make the land change quickly. Let's read the verse. The waters stood above the mountains. At thy rebuke they fled. At the voice of thy thunder they hasted away. They go up by the mountains. They go down by the valleys, unto the place which thou hast founded for them. Psalm 104, 6 through 8. All right, now if you look there, I actually got to go to this place this summer on my trip across the country from Pennsylvania all the way over to Washington State. We went to the Badlands, which is in South Dakota, Badlands National Park, and these are called hoodoos, okay? So, Isn't that interesting, the way it looks like somebody just set a big rock on top of a tower?
Look like
Alright.
mushrooms.
But what could have eroded that so quickly like that to make it look like that?
A volcano.
No, it's not from a volcano.
An earthquake.
We already read in the reading. What do you think did this?
Landslide.
No.
Water.
What kind of water? What?
Noah's flood.
Yes, the great flood that we read about in the Bible, where the whole entire earth was covered with water. That could have done something like this. All right, now we're going to talk about volcanoes. Top of the next page. Volcanoes. Do you remember what the hot liquid rock beneath the Earth's crust is called? Magma. Magma can sometimes erupt out of the earth through volcanoes. When magma erupts out of a volcano, the melted rock that flows out is called lava. Lava and hot ash can put nutrients back into the soil. Lava can cool to form different kinds of solid rock. A volcanic eruption can change the surface of the earth very quickly. Some mountains have been formed by volcanoes. Many islands have been formed by lava flow of a volcanic eruption. Alright, so some of the islands in the oceans are made by a volcano erupting, and then when that lava cooled, there was another island.
Isn't Hawaii kind of made of volcanoes?
Yes, Hawaii does have some volcanoes, and probably some of the Hawaiian islands are made from those. Okay, let's go on to earthquakes. Scientists believe, are you with me? You should be turning through your book. We're on page 97, where it says earthquakes, so please get there. Scientists believe that the Earth's crust is made of several plates of solid bedrock that float on liquid rock. Sometimes the Earth's crust can tremble or shake. This kind of shaking is called an earthquake, because the Earth is shaking or quaking, right? Scientists believe this happens because plates of bedrock push on each other. Earthquakes are most likely to happen where there is a break between two moving plates. This is called a fault. Alright, so a fault is like a break or a mistake, right? Alright, so think of it as a broken place in the earth so then the earth can move. The layers of earth can move. Some earthquakes are so weak that they are barely noticed. Others are strong enough to shake buildings and bridges. The strongest earthquakes can cause severe damage and change the surface of the earth. Some landforms are made because of earthquakes. Okay. Alright, we're not going to read all of this page, we're going to just read about landslides. Alright, so this is the last one. Sometimes flooding, earthquakes, or volcanic eruptions can loosen large masses of rock or soil enough to move it all at one time. We call this a landslide. The force of gravity pulls the landslide down a mountain or cliff. Landslides can be destructive and cause rapid changes to the Earth's surface. And you can see that landslide, it went right across the
Street.
yeah, right across the road, okay? And it would have caused a major change to that mountainside. It would totally look different after that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Alright, so that's where we're going to stop today.